What's up guys? This week on Cleverness 2013 is list week, so I've made a list of common Australian misconceptions that you foreign people seem to think about us, and I'ma clarify them for you. We're about to get all clarified up in here. The first thing I'm going to clear up today is that everything in this country is only here to hunt you down and kill you. The most common reason people have for not coming to Australia is that they're terrified that they're going to get off the plane and instantly be killed by something. Specifically all the super scary venomous snakes and spiders that we have here. It's obviously not true. You're not going to step off a plane and get attacked by a swarm of something venomous, but there's a reason that you all think that. A few years ago, the brilliance that is the Australian government thought it would be a good idea to campaign that Australia is dangerous and has all of these deadly animals to ward off potential refugees. This plan has obviously backfired because Australia is full of refugees and tourists are too scared to come here. Yes, Australia has heaps of venomous snakes and spiders. Yes, Australia has the world's most venomous snake, but they've killed very few people. As in, they've only killed a few people. As in, every year, only around 4 people die from Australian wildlife. So unless you plan on bushwalking through crazy long grass and sleeping in a hollowed out log, you're pretty much safe. And that world's most venomous snake? Why don't you take a guess at how many people it has ever actually killed? How many do you think? 1, 10, hundreds, thousands? Well, you're wrong. It's never actually killed anybody. Not only is this snake incredibly shy, but there's also an anti-venom that will save your life in the off chance you actually get bit by one. Second misconception is that we all live on giant farms in the bush in the middle of nowhere. Despite what the iconic Australian films like Crocodile Dundee and Australia would have you believe, we don't all live on giant red dusty farms kilometres from the next person. In fact, despite about 70% of the land being the outback, most of it is inhabitable desert, so only about 1% of Australians actually live there. In reality, just over half of Australia's 20-something million population live in the 5 biggest cities in Australia, with about 7 to 8 million of those people living just in Sydney or Melbourne. Next up is that we all ride kangaroos. I'm gonna let you in on a little secret. No one that has ever lived in or been to Australia has rode on a kangaroo. Ever. And the only people that have kangaroos as pets are zoos, wildlife parks, or people that have farms where wild kangaroos live. Sure, at some wildlife parks or zoos it's common for them just to have kangaroos walking around the park, interacting with the guests, you can feed them and pat them, or they have a giant enclosure you can go in and feed and pat the kangaroos as well. But if you try and grab one and sit on it, it will kick you. Hard. Ever seen a kangaroo kick someone? No? Well, here you go. You wouldn't want to be on the receiving end of that, would ya? Now let's talk about crocodile wrestling. Believe it or not, people don't actually go around single-handedly wrestling 6-metre long crocodiles. Or at least if they've tried, they're not here to tell us about it. The only people you'll ever see wrestling a crocodile are wildlife officers who have been trained to, in groups of around 5 or more, wrestle a crocodile if it's endangering other people and they need to capture it and move it somewhere else like a zoo or a wildlife park. We don't just do it for fun or the adrenaline or whatever you think we do it for. Next we're going to talk about vicious man-eating tourist hunting drop bears. They don't exist, they never have. Us Aussies have quite the sense of humour, and it's just a nationwide joke to tell tourists that there are carnivorous koalas that live in treetops and drop down onto their prey below and specifically target tourists. However, if you still don't believe me, the way to supposedly repel a drop bear is to put streaks of Vegemite on your face. So, good luck. And finally, the last misconception about Australia is when you flush the toilet, the water swirls in a different direction. Well, again, you're wrong. Our water doesn't swirl, it just goes down instead of around. It hasn't got anything to do with Southern Hemisphere gravity or whatever it is. It's simply because of Australia's low water levels and we have a different shaped toilet bowl. Well, there's no better way to end a video than talking about toilets, so that's it from me. You can check out my main channel down below, as well as hitting the subscribe button to see more videos from me and everyone else on this channel. Next week is Halloween, so leave suggestions down below for any spooky videos that you want us to do next week. Give this video a thumbs up if you thought any of these misconceptions were actually true, or if you think it's funny that people think that these misconceptions are actually true. I hope you enjoyed this video and that you are having a fabulous hump day, and I will see you next week. Goodbye!